Hello, I'm Peter Jones and this is 19 Group. Welcome. It's a great privilege to sit here today before you, Year 11, and take part in this fantastic exercise. I was asked by Miss Taylor, I think we all know she's called H, but to take part in this exercise and talk to you about some tips on presenting in business. Know your audience. This is very, very important in presenting. And presenting can take a format in many ways. It could be me sat here today in front of Year 11 and a video. It could be presenting in person, physically. I'll be in number 10 in July presenting to the Prime Minister about a launch of a new big product we've got. Or it could be presenting internally to your colleagues in your classroom. Here, every Friday, we do a 19 hangout and I present to all of the people here. But the most important thing you can do is always to know your audience. I've made a huge fail previously by coming out to, I was asked to speak at a CEO conference in Paris back in 2014. I actually thought I was talking to a French audience and didn't ask the question. It was actually very international. And let's just say me coming out with my British sense of humour didn't go down very well at all, especially with the Asian delegations and the Koreans. I won't share the humour, but all I can say is that after I spoke, I was then approached and asked if it would be okay if I did not attend the speaker's dinner. So, number 2, empathy and relate to your audience. Now 19 organises major scale exhibitions. And what's that, I hear you ask? Well, think of them like markets places. When you go to a market and you've got lots of stalls selling stuff and lots of people walking around and buying stuff. Buyers and sellers, that's what we do. We organise ours in huge exhibition centres, so the NEC in Birmingham, Olympia in London, Excel over in East London, and one of our shows may have 1,000 exhibitors, like 1,000 stallholders, but they're huge stands and they sell to tens of thousands of an audience, and those stands normally have a vast array of technologies on display to solve problems. And you're normally solving problems, selling a solution, because people have a challenge they need to overcome. So be empathetic, so relate to your audience. And I'm going to relate to Year 11. I think you've had a brutal year, really, really brutal year, guys. And I'm sure Miss Taylor and Mrs. Owens and all of us at 19 and the rest of the world are empathetic. You've had a really tough year. What I would share, a pearl of wisdom, if I may, that our chairman of this group, Phil Saw, shared with me many times over the years when I've had a real tough years and rock bottom lows and challenges to get through, is this all shaping and moulding experience. And I just hope that in many years to come, most of you will look back on this period and see how this actually helped shape the wonderful characters that you will continue to become. Probably the most important, and I've underlined this one, be you. There's an old cliche, you may be aware of this already, people buy into people, not into the product. I guess unless you're selling Apple, and then you just buy the product, no matter what. But people buy into people. So just be you, be authentic. And it's absolutely fine. You don't need to be, when you're presenting in business, in government, in a hospital, in your classroom, you don't need to be a polished, political type presenter. If anything, sometimes those types of people are, perhaps less trusted. It's too perfect. And number 4, anecdotal. Tell the story. So I spoke at a conference yesterday, and it was actually, I was feeling quite bad because the night before I'd really shouted at my son Rafe, who was 6 years old. He got in the shower on that evening, fully dressed in his school uniform, in his blazer, and got in the shower. And I really shouted, and it was a bad thing to do as a parent. I felt really, really bad, really guilty. And I was in a conference and I was speaking about culture in a business, and I was talking about family values and how family is always more important than the business. We always put family first. at 19, and I shared the story of why I felt so guilty because I shouted and raved too much. And I was leaving that conference, not to come back to a really important meeting here, which I needed to be at, but to go and buy some sausages, go home and cook his favourite dinner. And I shared that story with everyone in the audience, and it just helps we were talking about culture and values in culture, but that story helps bring it to life for the audience. And then number 5, finally, is just be respectful and engage your audience. Too many times over the years when I've been presenting, I love to talk, as you can probably imagine, and I've completely lost track of time. So I've been asked to present for 10 minutes, and before I know it, it's 35 minutes. And that actually, even though you think you're doing a great job, that sets other people back. And engage. Just make sure you engage with the audience. Great ways to engage is to be you. And even those people that during presentations that stammer slightly, that stutter, lock up momentarily, it just makes you you. And the people you're talking to, it makes you even more authentic. And another great way to engage at the end, if I was sat here, maybe one day Miss Taylor might invite me into your amazing, I've just looked at the website, it's amazing, into your school, is engage and ask the question. So if I was with you right now, I would be asking you, what do you want to know? What do you want from your onward careers? How can we help you? What are your anxieties? What are you safe about? What else haven't I covered here today? What do you think about it? What do you want to know? And that's it. So thank you. So there we have it. Those are the 5 tips, and I think I've probably wrapped up ahead of time, being very respectful. So I'm going to be a little bit cheeky, and I'm just going to be a little bit me. Why don't I just throw in a final tip? There's a cheeky number 6 here. Number 6, have fun. Because business is fun. When we spend so much time in the workplace, there's no point in getting too stressed about things being dull. Just have some fun. When we do presentations here on a Friday 19 Hangouts, we often ask people, tell us what you're up to at the weekend. Give us the best tips on Netflix. Is just enjoy yourself, and if you're you and you be you and you're authentic, then presenting can always be fun.